I want to take a moment to talk about something that many of us might shy away from discussing, but it's so important, and I believe that sharing my story could help others who might be facing the same issue. So, let's get real and dive into my personal journey of conquering rashes in my anus at the age of 60. Yes, you heard that right. It's not the most glamorous topic, but it's a very real part of life that can happen to anyone. Now, let me set the stage a bit. At 60, I thought I had my health pretty much figured out. I had my routine, I was active, I ate well, and I felt good. But then, out of nowhere, I started to notice this uncomfortable sensation. It began as a slight itch, something I could easily ignore. But as the days went by, it transformed into a persistent irritation that I couldn't shake off. I brushed it off for a while, thinking it was just a minor inconvenience, perhaps a result of too much sitting or maybe an allergic reaction to a new soap. But as the weeks turned into months, the discomfort escalated. The itch morphed into a burning sensation that made sitting down uncomfortable. And let me tell you, that's not something you want to deal with when you're trying to enjoy your golden years. I found myself shifting in my seat, wincing when I had to use the restroom, and feeling increasingly self-conscious about something that nobody talks about. I mean, who wants to bring up a rash in such a sensitive area, right? Eventually, I realized I couldn't ignore it any longer. I scheduled an appointment with my doctor, and I remember sitting in that waiting room, feeling a mix of embarrassment and anxiety. I was worried about what the doctor would think, and I imagined all the potential diagnoses that could come my way. But as I walked into the exam room, I took a deep breath and reminded myself that this was about my health, and it was time to advocate for myself. When I finally shared my symptoms with my doctor, I was surprised by how understanding and nonchalant they were. It turns out, rashes in that area are more common than you might think, especially as we age. The doctor mentioned several potential causes: friction, moisture, skin conditions, even dietary changes. They examined me and suggested a few over-the-counter creams to help soothe the irritation. But that wasn't the end of it. I learned that there were lifestyle changes I could make to help prevent this from happening in the future. One of the first things I discovered was the importance of hygiene. Now I thought I was doing okay in that department, but I learned that sometimes less is more. The doctor advised me to avoid harsh soaps and to stick to gentle, fragrance-free options. They also recommended that I avoid any products that could irritate the skin, including certain wipes and even toilet paper with scents or dyes. I realized that I needed to be more mindful of what I was using and how it affected my skin. Another key point was moisture control. I had never thought about how humidity could play a role in this issue. I learned that keeping the area dry is crucial. The doctor suggested using a powder designed for that area, which helps absorb moisture and reduce friction. I started to incorporate this into my daily routine, and it made a world of difference. I also made a point to wear breathable, cotton underwear, and to avoid tight-fitting clothing that could trap heat and moisture. It might sound simple, but these small changes had a significant impact on my comfort levels. Diet was another factor I hadn't considered. I learned that certain foods could contribute to skin irritation. Spicy foods, caffeine, and alcohol can all exacerbate inflammation in the body. And I realized that my love for spicy tacos might have been part of the problem. So, I made a conscious effort to adjust my diet, incorporating more anti-inflammatory foods like leafy greens, berries, and healthy fats. It wasn't a complete overhaul, but I found a balance that worked for me, and I felt better overall. As I made these changes, I also found it helpful to connect with others who had similar experiences. I joined online forums and support groups where people shared their stories and tips for dealing with rashes and skin issues. It was comforting to know that I wasn't alone in this battle. Hearing others talk about their struggles and triumphs made me feel validated and empowered. I learned so much from their experiences, and it inspired me to keep pushing forward. Now, let me tell you, it wasn't all smooth sailing. There were moments of frustration and setbacks along the way. I had days when the rash would flare up again, and I'd feel disheartened. But I learned to be patient with myself. Healing takes time, and it's not always linear. I reminded myself that every small victory counted, whether it was a day without discomfort or simply feeling more confident in my skin. As I continued on this journey, I also discovered the importance of self-care. I began to prioritize my overall well-being, taking time to relax, meditate, and practice mindfulness. Stress can manifest in so many ways, and I realized that managing my stress levels was crucial for my skin health as well. I started incorporating yoga into my routine, which helped me not only physically, but mentally too. It became a space for me to connect with my body and listen to its needs. Now, looking back, I can honestly say that dealing with this rash was a turning point for me. It taught me to be more in tune with my body and to advocate for my health. I learned to embrace vulnerability and to speak up about issues that are often brushed under the rug. It's so important to have these conversations, to break the stigma surrounding topics that can feel embarrassing. At 60, I've come to realize that our bodies are constantly changing, and it's essential to adapt to those changes with grace and understanding. I'm proud of the steps I took to conquer this challenge, and I want to encourage anyone out there who might be dealing with similar issues to seek help, make changes, and not be afraid to talk about it. You are not alone, and there is support out there. So if you're watching this and you find yourself in a similar situation, know that it's okay to reach out for help. Don't let embarrassment hold you back. Your health is worth it. And remember, small changes can lead to significant improvements. Embrace the journey, learn from it, and don't forget to celebrate your victories, no matter how small. You've got this.